U.S. F-15 shot down in Iran. Wow, there's more than one. China cures diabetes, and AI literally stops traffic. This is the Foundation Current Events, April 3rd, 2026. I am Sot L, Seeker of Truth L, Speaker of Truth L, and I'm not even gonna keep y'all waiting. Let's do our dance right away. Let's jump into it. Make sure you check out welcome to thefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list. It's happening. It's happening. That's all I'm gonna say. If you've been following me, if you've been following the foundation for the past 11 years now, 12 years, I don't even remember anymore. 10 years, 11 years, 10 or 11 years, right? You know what it used to be and how things used to work. Here we go. And that's all I'm going to say. You got to be an email list subscriber. That's it. So sign up for the email list. There are 2, I think, or 3 more reminder announcements going out, but this is time sensitive. I think the deadline is April 21st is the deadline, if I'm not mistaken. Sign up for the email list. That's all I'm going to say. Check out the website. Enjoy yourself. On this closed market, what is known as Good Friday, we have silver at $73. And we'll just say 10 cents, 13 cents, but $7, $73. Dollar cost average, $20, $10. You can do it. $50, $100 every 2 weeks, every month. Go to a coin dealer. We buy Gold Spot. Get as much silver as you can. That's what we're doing over here. State by state view of gas prices. Iran war pushes oil markets higher. Gas prices are climbing fast nationwide, adding pressure to already strained household budgets as conflict with Iran drives up global oil costs. Prices are rising across nearly every region, with some states already well above the national average, which is $4. It's above $4 now. Remember, you were with us. We reported on this. This is according to AAA, which is $4.06, which is up $1.08 from a month earlier. On the West Coast, drivers are seeing the highest costs, with prices reaching $5.89 per gallon in California and $5.35 in Washington. Please understand, this is regular unleaded. This is not premium. It's not mid-grade. 100% regular. This is not diesel. So it looks like the worst prices are on the West Coast. Doesn't make sense. They have a lot of ports. We got Florida right behind them. But man, it's not looking good. Chinese medical team enables 30 type 1 diabetes patients to discontinue insulin through integrative medicine. This has been reported. Do your own research, but this is Yahoo Finance. It's from Globe Newswire, March 10th, 2026. The team led by Dr. An Qiying at Shenzhen Hengsheng Hospital, I be trying, y'all, affiliated with Shanghai Fosun Health, publicly announced that through an innovative, integrative medical approach, they have successfully enabled 30 patients with type 1 diabetes to achieve functional remission, allowing them to completely discontinue lifelong insulin therapy. To date, this represents the largest reported clinical data set worldwide demonstrating functional remission in type 1 diabetes. It's a big thing. Hopefully, we're cool with China like that. Shocked by gas at $4 in America? Check this out. There was another one too, but I think it was like Hong Kong prices. They tried to play us. We're unplayable. What we got here? If you thought paying $4 for gasoline was bad, spare a thought for this international financial hub, which currently has the highest gas prices in the world. As average gas prices across the United States hit records. Since 2022, residents of Hong Kong are confronted with the world's costliest petroleum. This is around $15.60. This is U.S.
per gallon. $15? Even before President Trump launched the war against Iran and plunged the world into a historic energy crisis, the semi-autonomous Chinese city had consistently faced the world's highest gasoline prices, according to data from globalpetrolprices.com. So the conflict involving oil-producing Gulf states and the effective closure of a critical oil and gas shipping route in the Strait of Hormuz has sent oil prices surging globally over the past month. We all know this. Particularly painful, though, for Hong Kong and other Asian economies, which depend heavily on energy sourced from the Middle East and transported through that strait. Let's get to it. U.S. F-15E jet confirmed shot down over Iran. This is in addition to the F-35 that was hit a few weeks ago. I think it was a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. But this has been confirmed. Apparently, they found one guy, the other guy they're looking for. So a U.S. F-15E Strike Eagle fighter has been shot down over Iran, prompting a frantic U.S. search and rescue effort for its two-strong crew. In the first such incident since the start of the 5-week-long war, Iranian state media released images of a tail fin and other debris early on Friday today, accompanied by an initial claim that a U.S. F-35 had been hit by a new air defense system over central Iran and the pilot probably killed. Aviation experts said the wreckage pictured was, in fact, from an F-15E from the U.S. Air Force's 494th Squadron based at RAF Lakenheath in the UK. Though it could not at first be confirmed when and where the pictures were taken. U.S. officials familiar with the situation later confirmed off record that an F-15E had been brought down and the Pentagon was scrambling to find the crew before the Iranians. There was no official comment from the U.S. military about the incident. One crew member was reported as having been rescued as the situation developed in what is likely to have been a high-risk operation with rescue aircraft probably exposed to fire from the ground. It was not immediately clear if the jet had a full crew of two. Subsequent footage filmed in Iran showed the U.S. C-130 Hercules and HH-60 Pavehawk helicopters flying low and at one point refueling together amid fresh Iranian speculation that the plane crew may have ejected and survived. We also have a A-10 Warthog jet crash. This is from Hindustan Times. Hasn't hit American news yet, or as when I was looking for it. An A-10 Warthog fighter jet crashed near the Strait of Hormuz today at about the same time that the Air Force F-15E was shot down over Iran. The New York Times reported, citing sources in the incident, the lone pilot was rescued. This comes as American officials have launched a massive search operation for one of the two members of the F-15 that went down in Iran. So it's two now. It's two. U.S. intelligence assesses Iran maintains significant missile launching capability. So this isn't ending anytime soon. It's not going to end. That's all I'm saying. Roughly half of Iran's missile launchers are still intact, and thousands of one-way attack drones remain in Iran's arsenal despite the daily pounding by U.S. and Israeli strikes against military targets over the past 5 weeks, according to recent intelligence assessments. This is three sources familiar with the intel told CNN, quote, they are still very much poised to wreak absolute havoc throughout the entire region, end quote. The U.S. intelligence assessment total may include launchers that are currently inaccessible, such as those buried underground by strikes, but not destroyed. Or buried underground, period. Just not even buried, just underground. So this isn't ending anytime soon. Labor Department's proposal is a huge step for 401k. What is it? The proposed Department of Labor rule could significantly expand what Americans are able to hold inside their retirement accounts, potentially opening the door to assets like what? Cryptocurrency, real estate, and private markets. I love how they put cryptocurrency first because that's the move. BlackRock Global Head of Retirement Solutions, Nick Nafuse, described the rule as a huge step forward for the 401k market while discussing what the change could mean for everyday investors during his appearance on Varney and Company. The proposed regulation explains the steps that managers of 401k plans should take when considering alternative assets as a component of their investment lineups and establishes a set of process-based safe harbors for plan fiduciaries to use when selecting designated investment alternatives, such as cryptocurrencies, central bank digital currencies to be specific. Rather than endorsing specific investments, Nafus suggested that the proposal is focused on creating a structured process for plan providers to follow when evaluating alternatives. And I read an International Monetary Fund white paper, and I believe this was 2017. I believe it could have been 2017, 2016 when I read it, but I can't remember what the year it was. And it was decashing society. And they said that that the decashing of society of the whole world was going to be instituted through financial partners, banks, payment processors, so on and so forth. It wasn't going to be a government mandate because they didn't want pushback or, quote, riots. So here we go. Here we go. You're going to be able to get crypto in your 401k. Blue Owl limits withdrawals from 2 funds after historic surge in redemption requests. This is basically, it's insolvent. This is a private equity firm. Let's get into it. Blue Owl told investors yesterday that it's limiting withdrawals from 2 of its funds after a historic level of redemption requests came in for the first quarter, with AI-related worries driving an investor exodus from its technology-focused fund. Private credit firms like Blue Owl have been feeling strain from the market's recent downturn, prompting some investors to pull back from their investments due to worries about valuations and lending standards following a handful of high-profile bankruptcies. Founded in 2021, Blue Owl has become the poster child for private credit funds that are struggling with a high level of redemptions. Jittery investors are indiscriminately selling off anything heavily exposed to the software sector as advancements in AI threaten to upend entire sectors of the economy. About 8% of the firm's roughly $300 billion in assets was invested in software. Blue Owl investors asked to withdraw $5.4 billion in shares between the 2 funds during the first quarter. And it is the latest in a growing list of firms that have limited redemptions in recent weeks, including KKR, Apollo, and BlackRock. They're going in. Here we go. Thursday's news sent Blue Owl shares to new all-time lows in midday trading. The stock has been losing ground for months, shedding nearly half of its market value since the start of 2026. Investors asked to withdraw 40.7% of shares in the $6.2 billion technology-focused Blue Owl Technology Income Corp fund and 21.9% shares in the $36 billion Blue Owl Credit Income Corp fund. According to preliminary data released by the company, those percentages rank among the highest quarterly redemption requests the industry has ever seen, a person familiar with the matter said. The firm said it plans to only fill 5% of the requests. So 5% out of 40. Plus, I'm just going to say this. It's going to be 5%. So look, this was 60. We're just going to say 62, right? 0.2. Just to be liberal. Let's just say 62%. Out of the 62% of redemptions, they are going to only fill 5%, saying there was a, quote, meaningful disconnect, end quote, between public sentiment on private credit funds and the underlying performance of its portfolio. Quote, it's another reminder about how illiquid the sector is. It is a sector that is meant for professionals. Don't try this at home. Private credit does not have the kind of liquidity that public markets would have, and it's very difficult to get money out as quickly as you might want to, end quote, said Sam Stovall. This is chief investment strategist of CFRA Research in New York. He said retail investors thinking about investing in private equity may want to think twice. Yay, major grocery chain, closes more stores, cuts jobs as post-merger fallout deepens. This is Albertsons, right? It's closing additional stores and cutting jobs nationwide as it works to stabilize operations following the collapse of its $24.6 billion merger with Kroger, intensifying pressure on the grocery chain. And the merger, if the merger goes through, they can, get all this new funding. They can borrow this money. Oops. The Boise, Idaho-based company, which operates banners including Safeway, Vons, and Pavilions, has announced a new round of closures in recent weeks as it pivots to cost-cutting and operational changes. The company has closed roughly 20 stores in 2025, underscoring mounting pressure as it competes with larger rivals such as Walmart and other low-cost operators. And Kroger was like, look, we ain't finna do it. I bet you the books were just too bad. They probably looked in the books, did their due diligence, and was said, no, we can't take on this amount of debt, this amount of negative capital flowing verticals that y'all got going on here. In Southern California, Vons stores in Escondido and Redlands will close in April, eliminating 135 jobs. An Albertson store near Riverside, California shut down in March, cutting 75 workers, while a Safeway in Northern California closed earlier this year, affecting 76 employees. Grocery giant Kroger to close 60 stores in the next 18 months. It's happening. It's happening. Speaking of closed, Trump closed Pam Bondi as U.S. Attorney General. You're closed. U.S. President Trump ousted Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday after mounting frustration with her performance, especially over the release of files on late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Trump also felt Bondi was not moving quickly enough to prosecute critics and adversaries whom he wanted to face criminal charges. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, a former personal lawyer to Trump, will lead the Justice Department temporarily, Trump said in a social media post. Trump praised Bondi as a great American patriot and loyal friend who had overseen a massive crackdown in crime. Trump said she will soon move to a job in the private sector, but he gave no details. Check this out. U.S. tech firm Oracle cuts thousands of jobs as it steps up AI spending. Oh, it's not going to take your job. AI won't. Okay. Oracle is cutting thousands of jobs as the U.S. technology company seeks to reassure investors that its bet on AI infrastructure will pay off. The $420 billion company, which is headquartered in Austin, Texas, started making employees redundant on Tuesday, with thousands of its 162,000 strong workforce expected to leave. About 10,000 people have lost their jobs so far, the BBC reported, citing an unnamed employee at the company, which is cherished by Larry Ellison, the billionaire of Donald Trump. Ellison is worth $189 billion and is the world's sixth richest person, according to a Forbes estimate. We care. No, we don't. Michael Shepard, a senior manager at Oracle, who was not affected by the cuts, posted on social media site LinkedIn that there had been a significant reduction in workforce at the business. Shepard said the decision had affected senior engineers, architects, operation leaders, program managers, and technical specialists with deep expertise in cloud infrastructure, government and sovereign cloud environments, and enterprise-scale systems. Because AI can do all that now. AI can build code. AI can do movies. AI is out of here. AI is out of here. Speaking of out of here, passengers stranded. Get out of here. In moving traffic after robotaxi outage in China's Wuhan. And this wasn't here, but China is at the forefront of autonomous vehicle technology. Some robotaxi passengers were left stranded in the middle of fast-moving traffic in a major Chinese city after their driverless vehicle stopped running. A preliminary investigation indicates more than 100 robotaxis came to a halt because of a system malfunction. No injuries were reported. One passenger told Chinese media that their robotaxi stopped after turning a corner. An instruction on the screen read, "Driver system malfunction. Staff are expected to arrive in 5 minutes." After no one showed up, the passenger pushed an SOS button and was told that staff were on the way. The car door could not be opened, so the passenger got out on their own. It is the first time a mass shutdown of robotaxis has been reported in China. In December, many of Waymo's self-driving cars came to a stop in San Francisco. Wow. In San Francisco, wow. Sorry about that, y'all. Because of a power outage. Probably at the data center, right? The taxis in Wuhan are operated by Baidu, a major Chinese internet and AI company that is expanding its Apollo Go robotaxi business to overseas locations in Europe and the Mideast. So, we're losing jobs. You're going to lose time. You're going to be late because people aren't going to lose their jobs as Uber and Lyft drivers. And then the robot's going to drive you, and they're just going to malfunction. Like, as many times as my computer reboots, or, these are things that shouldn't be controlled by artificial intelligence yet. These things need to be vetted more, right? I don't know. Maybe I could be crazy. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. This is heavily opinionated, but I'm not doing it. I'd rather ride a bicicleta. That's bicycle in Spanish, if you didn't know. That's what I would rather do than jump into a moving automobile that has no human living, breathing driver. Not going to do it. You tell me, would you do it? Is this something that you're interested in? I'm serious. Would you jump in a driverless Uber or Lyft? Please let me know. Please let me know. I'm so interested. But with that being said, y'all enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. It is very important. And I'll catch y'all next week. Enjoy your weekend, y'all. Peace.